Hello, and welcome to my capstone presentation for the University of Alberta's TLDL program. My name is Tanya Hobbs. I'm going to be discussing my final project for EDL 545, Integration of Emerging Technologies. This project is titled My Vision for the Future, is in the format of a Prezi. You'll see some of the slides of my Prezi in this video. I chose this piece of work because I feel it really illustrates the culmination of my learning throughout several TLDL courses, and really shows how the program instills a sense of leadership and advocacy in its students. I'm now consistently advocating for change within my school. In particular, I've been concentrating on advocacy for more teacher librarianship time within the school. We are sadly lacking in this area. I'm starting to see the fruits of my labor, which is really invigorating and exciting. The principal has already approached me about how I imagine more TL time being used in the coming school year. This dialogue will continue throughout the spring, and I'm hoping that we at least double the current TL time within the school. Additionally, this vision clearly shows several goals that I have for the future. These goals include the development of independent silent reading, reading strategies, information literacy skills, literature circles, and participatory learning within my classroom and school. You can see that some of the names of my goals have changed. This is due to further learning and reflection since I initially completed this assignment. One of my current primary goals is to foster independent silent reading in my classes and throughout the school. I came to start practicing silent reading again because of EDL 543. I've used the 543 course text, Reading in the Wild by Donald Miller, as well as other course articles and Stephen Krashen's Free Voluntary Reading to establish effective independent silent reading in all of my language arts classes. How do I know that the ISR I'm doing is effective? Students are reading more books than they have in years. They talk about books outside of the class. I've caught students having really interesting conversations about books in the hallways and the forum. Circulation of books has increased, and students ask to read for longer periods of time. Students also recommend books to each other, to me and to other teachers. They request books to be purchased by the TL. This is particularly exciting when it is a supposed non-reader who's doing the requesting. During ISR, they are 95% of the time engaged, and if they aren't, I can usually ferret out the reason and fix it. All of these factors show me that independent silent reading is having a very positive effect on students' reading habits. One example of how I've been gently nudging the whole school towards a culture of reading is the What Are You Reading display I put together last month. I was very excited by how engaged teachers were with this activity, and am now working towards making video book talks of teacher-recommended books. A next step for me is to instigate and manage a What Are You Reading activity for students throughout the school. Additionally, I plan to continue sharing what research says about ISR and achievement and lifelong success with students, parents, and staff. I also hope to make more inroads with parents regarding ISR and encourage more staff to adopt the practice in their classroom. And I hope to continue to support those that currently do ISR. My next goal, my vision Prezi, is connected to my literacy support teacher role and specifically deals with reading strategies. I've been working for a year and a half to help teachers implement reading strategies into their classes. It's a long, incremental process, but it seems like teachers are slowly embracing the use of these strategies. I have at least 3 teachers who are consistently using them in their classes now, and hope to encourage more staff to buy in over the next few months, and potentially next year if the position is renewed. Staff interest and collaboration has more than doubled since last year, which is very exciting and makes me feel quite hopeful. I've just started recently working with the new special ed teacher to help students develop good study habits with the help of graphic organizers that I created around reading strategies. You can see them in this current slide. I've also used this graphic organizer while co-teaching with a number of teachers in different content areas, including science and social studies. My third goal was called digital literacy in my Prezi. I would amend that name to be information literacy at this point. I've developed and delivered professional development on information literacy for school-wide professional development days, and have also provided individual support to teachers in my role as literacy support teacher. In my opinion, research skills and developing understanding of school databases should be top priorities for our school. This is a current work in progress, and with additional TL time will be a focus for next year. Hopefully, we'll have the time and resources available to develop a scope and sequence for information literacy skills from grade 8 through 12. My participatory learning and literature circles goal is a true mix of TLDL courses. I learned about inquiry-based lit circles in my very first TLDL course, and I'm still using the course text, Comprehension and Collaboration by Harvey and Daniels. I've been trying out inquiry in a number of my courses, and have attempted inquiry-based lit circles in my language arts classes. Recently, I've collaborated with 2 colleagues to help them plan culminating tasks for their English 8 and 9 courses that take the form of lit circles. I'm still learning how to do inquiry-based lit circles in the most effective manner, but I've been really pleased with the learning and engagement that I see in my students. My goal for participatory learning is that students publish their final products, in whole or part, of their inquiry-based lit circles to the web to share with a broader audience. Additionally, I'll be working to ensure that upcoming revisions to our technology policy support participatory culture. Instrumental to my development as a teacher librarian is time and experience in the Learning Commons as a teacher librarian. Currently, I'm a classroom teacher with 1 block of literacy support time. With TL experience, I can further develop my practice and focus more on achieving my goals for my vision of the future. In addition, if I had sufficient time in the Learning Commons, I would be able to develop more collaborative relationships with my colleagues, as I would not be constrained by a regular teaching schedule. I would like to focus on fostering long-term change at my school and need support from administration, colleagues, and the district in order to achieve this goal. My information literacy skills need some work as well. I need more time to explore digital tools by myself and with students and staff. This is connected to my digital literacy goals for my vision of the future. I've made the first steps toward accomplishing these goals very recently by leading professional development with an information literacy focus and starting to build a team of people who will contribute to developing a digital skills scope and sequence for grades 8 through 12. One question I have is, why is change so difficult in education? From a more broad and historical point of view, what is it about the education system that creates resistance to change? The biggest question I'm left with, however, is, will we see a turnaround where it comes to teacher librarians and school libraries in the near future? Will districts and ministries of education start to recognize the benefits of trained teacher librarians and funded libraries? It's clear to me that schools with funded and appropriately staffed libraries provide their students with a diverse range of skills necessary for success in the real world. At what point will the powers that be pay heed to the research out there and make some changes? My professional learning community, connected through Twitter, Facebook, blogs, and emails, has been a constant source of support through the last few years. I'm aiming to become more of a producer in my PLC instead of just a consumer. Additionally, I'll continue to present at staff meetings and host breakfast meetings in my role as literacy support teacher. This coming spring, colleagues in my school-based PLG and I are going to present at the Networks of Inquiry and Innovation Symposium in Vancouver. This opportunity will provide me with a chance to share my learning about literacy and inquiry-based learning with teachers from around the province. Additionally, it will expand my PLC. My whole experience in TLDL has shifted my teaching practice dramatically. Not only am I now trained to be a teacher librarian, I'm also a more innovative teacher who's working to improve the learning of all students within my school through professional development and collaborative relationships. I would consider myself to be an agent of change now, and am consciously and consistently working towards improvement and growth. My teaching practice overall has improved dramatically. I am more informed as an educator and used evidence-based strategies to help my students become well-rounded citizens. Overall, I've become a more confident and vocal teacher leader with a focus on professional relationships to bring about lasting and positive change. There have been many highlights and aha moments for me throughout my time in TLDL. Specifically, I found the collaborative work in the course discussions and projects to be most helpful in terms of building my interpersonal skills and building my capacity for teamwork in my own school. It was so illuminating to hear others' perspectives and to share ideas about how to resolve universal issues. It's also comforting to know that I'm not alone and that I now have a strong community of peers that can help me when I need it. Another highlight is the learning. The first course I completed was a summer inquiry-based learning course. It was a shock to the system. I initially felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer amount of time needed to process all of the new information, opinions, and thinking, never mind the foreign academic language. After that initial feeling subsided, however, I quickly recognized a feeling of contentment that I was using my brain in a way that it hadn't been used in a long, long time. I was challenged, and it felt like my brain had woken up from a long, dusty nap to start working out in the gym and running marathons. It was invigorating. This learning sparked something in me that had been lacking for a while. I no longer felt bored or like I was running through the motions with my teaching. I was excited and experimenting, and my students could feel that enthusiasm. In short, I was inspired. I've learned that I'll need to keep learning and keep in touch with my PLC in order to continuously push my teaching in new directions. It's easy to stall and get mired in the everyday tasks of teaching and slide back into tried and true traditional habits. I've learned that being held accountable for new ventures is a surefire way to ensure that these innovative ventures are seen through to completion. All too often, I can start things and get distracted and forget about finishing them. If I put my ideas out there to the world or to my school by announcing objectives, I can be sure that someone will remind me of my intentions, which will help me to stay focused. Overall, I would say that as a professional, I can now recognize and employ a clear sense of authority and agency. I've developed confidence in my own abilities and now consistently take risks both as a teacher and a teacher leader to push my development as a professional. Because of TLDL, I can say that I feel more knowledgeable, impassioned, connected, and hopeful than ever before in my career. Thank you to all of my TLDL peers and instructors for this wonderful, fruitful journey. It's been an incredible experience, but I'm happy that I'll have a little more free time in the near future. As soon as the ice melts, I'm going fishing.